Namaste, angels. This is the weekly general reading for the period of today, Sunday, February 28th, through Saturday to come, March 6th. Sorry that I'm late. Some of you know that in my regular life, I've been pretty busy. I hosted two very important meetings this week. I was honored by the New York City Council. I had a bunch of clients also for reading and particularly healing. I had this family I had to help in India with some healing work, and so it's just been very busy. And I wanted and needed to get my nails done. Finally went to do that as well today, and so that's what's caused the delay. But I do apologize. I'm beginning with the dice and buy shoes, stay in bed, and it's 50-50. Spirit says cocktail, dirty movie, and try again. Upon trying again, Spirit says it's 50-50. With the cards, we are beginning with the Two of Swords. But you know what? I think we're also going to begin with the Five of Wands. This week, Mars enters Gemini. And whenever I do these readings, I shuffle a bunch of decks of cards. I don't always use them all. I rarely use these in the general. I tend to use these and then I'll clarify them with some like oracle decks or something like that. Or I may use these as clarify. I rarely use these, but I shuffle them all the time. So this week I shuffled them, and this Five of Wands ended up on top. So the Five of Wands to me is like a really strong Martian energy, as in the planet Mars. It represents this action and aggression. Even in the picture here, these two rams that are like butting heads, and they're causing a thunderbolt behind them, and it's like the Zeus Almighty, right? He's angry. Occasionally, you may experience clashes with others. If you decide the matter is worth your energy, then do what you can to minimize the conflict without sacrificing your goals or beliefs. So that can be what it means. It can be about conflict, but for me, sometimes it's not about conflict. It's a positive card, and it just represents the planet Mars. Well, it depends upon if you feel that aggression can be positive. Some people may not. They may feel like it's a negative emotion. It's adverse. But so I think pursuit of what we want, need, desire in a healthy way is positive also. So this is not always a negative card for me. It doesn't always mean conflict. When it does mean conflict or competition, it can mean that as well. If it's not about being conflicted, as in like you yourself are conflicted, if it has to do with another person or persons, then it tends to be close friends or family when it's the Five of Wands in particular. And it can also be work or whatever you do for anything you do that can be part of a competition, that can be won as part of a competition. Anything you do that requires you to stand out, but you may need to be picked among other people. This card can be about it too. Or somebody else trying to compete with you. Maybe you it could be unbeknown to you, right? You're minding your own business, but someone is trying to win something that would otherwise be yours, like take credit for your work at work or at school. Or maybe there are a bunch of suitors for the person in whom you're interested, or that you're dealing with and dating. There's a bunch of other people that are interested, so you're sort of fighting over this person, things like that. So that's Mars. And we're also, with these cards, starting with the Two of Swords. So when I realized that Mars enters Gemini this week, and that I had shuffled each of these decks respectively, this one ending up on this very Martian card for me, and then this one ending up on this energy that can be representative of Gemini, even though it's not a court card. And, it is of the suit or element of air, swords, metal, and that is Gemini, and then it's the two. So the Roman numeral 2, of course, represents our sign. We are the sign of the twins, all of that. So to me, these two decks, it's three decks actually, two piles of cards, were trying to say something to me about the Mars in Gemini transit. So I think I'm going to just use both of them. So I'll shuffle each one in front of you for a couple seconds. Right, 2 more air energy with the Ace of Swords, some sort of new beginning. Here we have the Devil upright. Represents, feeling chained or stuck to something. Could be disappointed and upset about the fact that you feel like you're not moving. Could be simply not moving, like in a relationship with a Capricorn. Devil represents the sign of Capricorn. But that Wheel of Fortune, I decided to stop there because that is about a reversal of fortune. So like moving out of, and it's very sudden and, can be unexpected. So moving out of maybe a time of disappointment or loss or sadness or upsetness or feeling of being stuck and losing to a time of winning. And the Knight of Swords is definitely a winner. He is about hearing, like, if you've been awaiting a decision, for example, he is about hearing what you want to hear, like a yes in that regard. So maybe it is 50-50. It could go either way, but this is a sign of a positive outcome. The Knight of Swords upright. Although he is the elements of swords or air, believe it or not, this is also representative of, in terms of love and relationship, those relationships, those people that come by and sweep you off your feet and, knock you, you weren't expecting it. And sometimes love knocks you down. It's that. You could be being relieved of some sort of burden. So maybe this burden is attached to, again, a feeling of being stuck or immobile. I can't move forward. And the Knight of Swords may relieve you of this week. Let's shuffle these two. For these, I just, because it is 2 decks, look what just flipped over. The 2 of Swords again. Being unable or unwilling to make a decision, a stalemate, and pretending there's no problem. For me, the 2 of Swords is a card that indicates they really have made a decision. Like that says unable to make a decision. You really have made a decision. You're just afraid to act on it. So maybe that's what the feeling of being stuck is. Like you know what you want to do, but you're afraid to actually do it because what will society think, or your friends think, or your job think, or your family think, or you're concerned about the appearance, the aesthetics of it, or how it impacts somebody else. And it's a situation where you should really be considering yourself instead of whatever that is. Even in the case of children, like some people say, oh, well, I'm staying in a toxic relationship because of my children. Even stuff like that. When the 2 of Swords shows up, it's showing up to say, like, nah, you might not want to do that. You may want to go ahead and make the healthier choice that you've already made in your mind and your heart, maybe, whether that's to be single or to be with somebody else, but you're afraid to make it. And that can lead to sadness. Yes, hurt, toxicity, all kinds of mess. Great sadness. Take time to heal. There's a need to forgive yourself and others. And behind that is the Moon. Important psychic insights, events behind the scenes, release fears that hold you back. We just had a full moon on Friday or Saturday. Saturday, I think. The Virgo full moon. I didn't even do that reading. The Moon in the Tower represents the sign of Pisces. It is about heightened psychic abilities and awareness and cognition and intuition, inclinations that you may receive, synchronicities and signs and things like that. It is also about, like in a 3D sense, information that you don't have, that you need, that you don't know. So again, in comes the Knight of Swords. But maybe in the meantime, there's feelings of this. This could be attached to the fear of the unknown. Yes, I made a mess. pulled these off, I knocked something else down. Okay, I don't know how I'm going to fit all these, but we're going to try. Yeah, I'll do this deck first. So maybe I won't do this. I want to do the health though. Maybe I'll put them somewhere else. Okay, so the first one most directly representing us this week, and it is dun, 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 the Two of Swords again. Surrounding energy. The Queen of Swords. She is independent, experienced, realistic, and witty. Objective decision making. Clearing away all that no longer serves you and seeing the humor in a situation. More importantly, the Queen of Swords shows up to say that your instincts are serving you well. So remember we just saw the instincts with the moon. We just saw that it's going to be heightened. You're going to be receiving stuff, so you shouldn't be worried about the unknown. And we saw the other Two of Swords, and I said you had already made a decision based on your own inclinations, right, and your feelings. You made a decision already. This is saying to trust those, so it's reinforcing this message about the Two of Swords. We'll talk more about what the Queen of Swords means in a second. Work and finance. Ten of Wands. Too much work. Accept help from others. Life is out of balance, and that can cause stress-related health concerns. That may be connected to the die, and it's 50-50 also. And lastly, love and relationship. Abundance. Things look very good. Have patience at this time and make long-term plans. I said lastly, but I said I also wanted to do physical health. Looks good. 10 of Cups. It's time to express your love and appreciation for family, be it relatives or chosen family of close friends. Congratulations may be in order on a happy, fulfilling marriage, as well as raising happy and balanced children. And spiritual health is judgment. Review and evaluate. A favorable assessment of the facts. It is time to move in a new direction. Recalling our overall energy from these decks is the Three of Swords. I'm going to pick up this one that has an overall energy of the Knight of Swords. Card most directly representing us, the Three of Swords. You see why I like to use more than one tarot deck? And it's not only for you guys, it's for me too, because it serves to validate. I don't want to say validate. I'm not seeking validation, but like reaffirm that like my gifts are genuine, and the messages are worthy of your trust, right? You can feel comfortable watching this channel and trusting. I was watching 90 Day Fiance, and this woman went to a tarot reader. She goes to her regularly, apparently, it seems, and like really sort of tries to plan her life and her path in accordance with what this woman says. The woman had given her a reading, and she said, the Chariot means your man's with another woman. And I'm going, that's not what the Chariot means. Like, what in the world? I mean, readers can have their own meanings for something, like, oh, this pops up when my guides want to tell me this or that. But she just said it with such conviction, like it's what it means, as if it was like the traditional meaning, or one of the traditional meanings at least, and it's not at all. And I was like, oh man. And the woman went and basically told her boyfriend off, and they broke up because of this. It's not funny, because I was just like, it's horrible. People expose themselves to these readers and other types of spiritual healers and things, and it's not always safe. So I guess long story short, or that's what I was trying to say, you can feel safe here, you can be vulnerable, in watching and looking for answers. Um, that said, I'm not too thrilled about the Three of Swords, but it's here. Um, Surrounding energy. Major Arcana card 0, the Fool, which for me, some of you guys may know, is very Aquarian, as is the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords most directly is an Aquarius, although she is also potentially a Gemini or a Libra, of course, or anyone likened to those traits or attributes. They don't have to be an air sign at all. Anyone of this energy at the moment. And for right now, for all of us, again, this is about our, it's here to tell us, or she's here to tell us that our inclinations are serving us well. Those things that we're you're having a feeling about, go with them and follow them. Your instincts are serving you well. Yes. Work and finance. The Ten of Wands is joined by the Eight of Swords in reverse. And love and relationship. The Three of Wands is joined by the Two of Wands. That's very nice. Physical health. Ace of Pentacles in reverse, so two nice cards there. And spiritual health, the King of Pentacles joining Judgment. I'll put our overall energy here. I don't want to put that whole pile, so I'll just put the Three of Swords there. Okay, so going back to the Knight of Swords first. In addition to what I already said about him, I do think in traditional tarot practice, he is the Gemini. I like to call the pages the mutable signs, because they represent youth and youthfulness and all that, and that's what the mutable signs represent to me as well. Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces, and Virgo. But in traditional practice, I'm pretty sure it is the Knight. That's the Gemini. Like I said, the Queen is actually the Aquarius. So this is very Mars. All these wands and swords is very Mars and Gemini for me. And we'll get into how it can be, for us all, how you guys can see it too. So the Knight of Swords can be a card that also speaks or points to our physical, emotional, even spiritual energy being at its peak. So again, we've seen the moon. We know that these things are heightened, so at its peak, so to speak. And again, they're serving us well. So if we listen, we will, be fully served by them and put them to good use. Also, as I did mention, it can be about, like, if we're waiting for news or something, or an answer from someone or something, then you're likely to hear what it is you want to hear, or the positive affirmation of whatever the situation is. And if you have stuff that you need to get accomplished, that maybe you've been trying to, or it could point that you have a bunch of stuff to do. I was going to say maybe we've been trying to do a bunch of stuff. Maybe it was held up because of Mercury retrograde and now energy is flowing and stuff. That can be one thing. But also it can point to stuff that you newly have to do as of this week that maybe you didn't last week. It can be about travel, being like out and about, and just getting things done. It's a very busy energy. Geminis are very fast-paced people. We need to always be doing something and moving. We bore very easily, all of that. In terms of work, again, good omen, particularly for work, especially like for those of you who may be looking for a job. This can be like where you're hearing what you want to hear, like you're hired, or we have an opening or whatever. Of course, you're gonna have to do some action. Nights for me are about action too, and so the action on your part may be to apply, maybe to send in your resume, maybe to walk into a place and say, hey, do you have any jobs? You're looking for anybody? But the energy for it is good, and you could be, if you're already employed, getting so much done, being busy like a Gemini, that it makes your employer, your peers, I can say your employee, your employers. I mean, your employees, your fellow employees, look bad that they're, moving too slow, or something like that. But that's their problem. Just don't be like a douche about it, right? Don't be like obnoxious. But so you should be proud of yourself and smile that you're getting a lot accomplished, right? And try to keep up the good work and the pace. In terms of love, again, you may literally be swept off your feet, whether you're male or female, you identify as masculine or feminine, doesn't matter. If you're currently in a committed relationship, it should get deeper and maybe more clarity. So that'll you tend to make it more satisfying for most of us when we start to have a better understanding of our situation and of one another in the relationship. If you're single and looking, then can come like when you least expect it, just sneak up on you super quick and fast. Like this fast-paced air energy. Finances also, the picture looks good when the night appears, and you could receive some cash maybe that you weren't expecting. Something could come through for you, maybe a loan or an unexpected order if you're in a service job, maybe like mine or something like that. In terms of this, um, unexpected inheritance, something could come your way. In terms of health, this is also a positive card, so it goes well with the other two cards that I've pulled here for our physical health. Um, Again, it's a big positive, fast moving energy, and that's what it can mean about healing. Um, like when your energy and your spirits are up, that's good news for health, right? That's a positive thing in itself for health. And as it relates to spirituality or spiritual health, then it can be about, this is weird, it can be about a need for space, and a deeper understanding. So that is kind of weird with the swords. Um, it calls for us to kind of slow down because it can be hard to increase your spirituality when you're running around, like a chicken with your head cut off, right? And you're all over the place. So it calls for you to sort of like draw in your energy, find just find a time, a space for yourself, carve out some space for yourself where you can be still for as long as you can stand it. If you're feeling like an air sign, or if you are an air sign, for as long as you can stand it, try to spend some time by yourself. Did we look and see what was behind the knight? Oh yeah, it was the ten of wands. So that can be an indication of needing to slow down too. Like just doing too much and pushing too hard, having a lot on your plate, um, a lot to do, and you could use a break. Moving on to our other overall energy. It is not only our overall energy in terms of here, but it's the card that will most directly represent us for the week over here, and that is the Three of Swords. So whether it's upright or in reverse, it tends to be a card um, representative of distance, right? Separation, pain, hurt, loss, disappointment, all of these things. In reverse, I think is better. Is less intense, and that's the case for a few different cards in the deck. Um, but this isn't necessarily the worst thing either. It calls for you to pay attention to your pain, right? Like not to deny it. So in terms of work, it can be like your ego could be in danger of being bruised. So I already warned you in terms of this energy not to be a douche at work or in your career and your job just because you're being successful. Watch it, like check your ego there, or it may get hurt. Um, Alternatively, you could need some assistance with this card, but I don't think so with the knight. But this one says if you do need help at work or something, to ask for it. Love and relationship doesn't have to mean the end or the death of a relationship, but again, it's one of pain, loss. It could be infidelity, all those kind of things, so it means you at least need to communicate. Somebody could be bothered, hurt, upset, disappointed about the fact that they're single as well, and that requires action on your part, right, to change that, to turn that around. Um, it can mean disappointing news and things with finances, but again, I don't think that that's the case with this. Um, or, I mean, these cards aren't about finances, but the King of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles showing up too, I don't think that that's the problem. And spirituality, can mean it's not really a good time for you to be trying to hold on to things that want to leave your life. That's people, that's situations, ideas, jobs, plans. If it's the universe is showing you that it's not for you or not for you right now, and it's trying to leave, then this card says let it go, or it could cause you some sort of undue or unnecessary hurt and pain that you otherwise wouldn't have to experience. And it too, again, says that some time alone could be helpful. So, in that way, it does go along with the Knight of Swords overall energy that we also have. Connecting it to the Two of Swords, I think it's hurt over not doing something we want to do, over not being where we want to be. You know, whether that is in your job or a job, a career path, a relationship, in terms of having gone to school or not gone to school, or what you wanted to major in, or how far you wanted to go. You know, just like being upset, being disappointed in yourself, or saddened that you are not, um, again, where you want to be, or with whom you want to be, or both, is the message for these two cards. But again, it's not like a dire situation. There's room here for you to do something about it, for you to take some sort of action. And part of that action may include making this decision very firmly, putting your foot down and letting the world know, I want to do this. Or I'm going to do this, whatever it is, because in the meantime, you're the one that's hurting. And I think I talked about this potentially happening last week, particularly with the masculine. I remember talking about a lot of them just not choosing. I think it was in the love reading. Who they wanted to be with, or not being, living in their truth. You know, in terms of sexuality and gender, and maybe being interested in somebody younger or somebody older, and all these things. So it's coming up again. Or that thing that I foresaw as potential seems to be showing up here. So, moving on to the general meaning of the Queen of Swords and the Fool. Again, the Queen of Swords is about instincts. Um, the Queen of Swords is the cutoff queen. She's also known by tarot readers as the Feng Shui Queen. Right? She gets things in order. She takes things out of her life that she doesn't need, and that's this stuff, right? Whatever it is you're living in that's not your truth, that you don't want to be, that's caused you pain, disappointment, sadness, whatever, loss, separation from what you do want, you go ahead and make that firm decision. The Queen of Swords is guiding you, right? Your instinct, you're getting messages, intuition, messages, signs, synchronicities about some sort of new beginning. Let these things that want to leave go and accept the new beginning. Take a leap of faith, trust yourself that, again, your instincts are serving you well, and go for whatever that is. Just because it's called the Fool, the fact that it's called the Fool doesn't mean that you are a fool, doesn't mean you're acting like a fool. It um it is about faith. It's a card of faith. It's a very spiritual card about, just jumping at what it is you feel inclined to jump at, what it is you feel guided to jump at. It doesn't mean that you're a fool any more than death means that, you're going to die, right? It doesn't the death card doesn't mean that at all. So it's one of those types of things. And trust your instincts, have faith in yourself, have faith in the universe, the path it's showing you, and you go for it. And you're going to be happier, because this is unhappy. Yeah, I definitely talked about being unhappy last week. This could also be taking a chance on a Queen of Swords, a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. It can be you being that, more likely it's somebody else, because this is the surrounding energy. So like close friends, family members, co-workers. But it can be you interacting with maybe another person or energy, and you are embodying these traits if you're not a air sign directly yourself, and maybe taking a chance on someone or something. I see it as an opportunity to right a wrong, right? This is like a wrong, maybe in the past, or to take advantage of a missed opportunity, like an opportunity is coming around a second time, and that is what judgment means. And it's interesting that we have judgment joined by the King of Pentacles. So it could be like a work opportunity or something lucrative, abundant, even if it is a relationship, an abundant one, successful one, something that represents worthiness and deservingness and reciprocity and like compensation. You're receiving, you're not just giving. What else? Yeah, and then I guess the general thing again, trusting your instincts and taking a chance on something, following the guidance you feel you're receiving. So moving on to work and finance, we have the Eight of Swords in reverse, and this can be about like a change in your work, or maybe you want a change in your work. And if you like one, this is a good card. It says that it's possible. Maybe because you are doing too much, you got too much on your plate. If it's not like at a job, maybe it's like working for yourself, or just in terms of what you do. Like I was talking about why I'm late this week, right? Because I have a regular life, also a 3D life, a private life, separate and apart from being the Queen of Swords. I'm still Mariama also, and Mariama technically doesn't have to do this. Like Mariama has a real life, is real busy, is known, and like I said, was compensated, or at least not in a monetary sense, or a material sense, but I received recognition for my work. And so that's what I was talking about before too, like in terms of the competition and being noticed and being a standout can also be what that's about. So in your work, whatever that means for you, as I described it can mean many different things for many different people. There's an opportunity for that. And so like again, this Fool card coupled with the Queen of Swords can be used taking advantage of an opportunity to switch it up, to do something different. Maybe go out on your own, start your own company, take a chance on yourself, take a chance on something. Be open and aware of potential chance meetings with new people that could help to advance your career, help you to make some sort of the changes that you're seeking to make. Be I don't suggest that you necessarily be like an air sign in terms of being rushed, but in terms of being deliberate, like in your moves, and maybe couple that with a little bit of patience, which is not very air sign like actually. Um, and understand that everyone may not get or support what it is you're trying to do, and maybe that's why you've been afraid to say it, to voice it, to give life to it. All these Two of Swords that keep showing up, that's their problem. Again, that's not your problem. Know that you must do what is best for you. Okay, and what is best for you is to alleviate this burden that you feel like you're carrying. In terms of finances specifically, unexpected things may happen. So I mentioned before, money may come from somewhere. The equivalent, like I was just talking about the equivalent of money, not necessarily money or material, but something else of value. So maybe you got a speeding ticket or a parking ticket, and if you live in New York, right, our parking tickets are like almost, I think, like $130 at this point. Um, and they switched to some process where it's like either you pay it or it's zero. Like there's no. We used to be able to get it reduced, and so I don't think they do that anymore. I think there's the way the court is handling it is either they force you to pay it or they take it away. And you may be expecting to pay it. Maybe you're actually guilty, and you receive in the mail that it's zero. Like something like that could happen. If you owe taxes or whatever, something could be. You could be given amnesty of some sort in some area of your life. It's going to be different for different people that maybe experience that. So, but that's what I'm seeing. Also, it can be an important time for some of us to make sure we have some sort of like financial safety net or something to fall back on, and maybe that's why you're looking for a change in your work, right? Because there could be an unexpected loss too. Maybe not this week, but in the near future, and you want to make sure that you have something, or you could be planning for that. We are in the middle of a pandemic globally, so maybe you're planning for that. So this card this week is saying, make sure that you have some sort of little safety net. Um, so this is the time where, like I said, unexpected things can happen, and it can definitely be related to financial increase that you weren't expecting. But in terms of taking a chance with the Fool, like on things like gambling and stuff, not a good week for that. Excuse me. So moving on to love and relationship. We have the Three of Wands coupled with the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands is the soulmate or twin flame or divine union card of the tarot. That's one of its meanings. The Three of Wands is a card of abundance that we have to maybe be a little bit patient for. Threes can be about patience in general, like the indication that something's coming, but it's not going to be here tomorrow. This could be something for which you've already been waiting, right? This soulmate or twin flame or divine union, whatever you want to call it. This can be something that you've already been waiting for, and it's been coming and it's been coming, and this week it arrives. Or this can be an indication, a new indication for some of you that this is coming, and you just got to be patient, right? We're starting with the Three of Wands, and it's going to go down to the Two of Wands, and then it's going to be an Ace of Wands, and you're going to have a new beginning. From a tarot, traditional tarot sense, perspective, the Two of Wands means that if you're already in a relationship, it will get more equal. Remember, I was talking about reciprocity, right? Not feeling like you're giving and receiving. Remember what the die said? It's 50-50. So shared responsibility, mutual respect and adoration, and interest. Not one person feeling like they're giving their all and they're not getting anything back from the other person in terms of energy, right? So definitely a lot more equal, a lot more balanced. You should pay attention to any ideas about balance and equality and things, equity that you've been having, and share them with this partner. If you're, and March is Women's History Month too, so that brings up messages and things for me about equality, and today is the last day of Black History Month, so that too, equality, equity, and maybe where it hasn't always been because we live in a patriarchal system. So thinking about new ideas, maybe, and how you may want to approach a relationship. Maybe within the confines of your own home, you don't want to live within a patriarchal system. Maybe you can't live in a patriarchal system. It feels unnatural because of your other belief systems or your innate, qualities, behaviors, or your sexuality or gender or whatever. It doesn't allow you to do that. So this would be a week to explore those things and to voice them and give them energy, give them life, give them voice. If you're single, it could be a time when you're meeting somebody that's not your usual type, and don't judge a book by its cover. Somebody could show you interest, and this could be the time to give them a chance. Give them a chance and see. You could really be pleasantly surprised that this is exactly the relationship you're looking for, and in fact, twin flame divine union. And actually, part of the twin flame dynamic is exactly that. Like, to me, to be disinterested, the other person is not your type, or there is some very stark difference, usually race, it could be sexuality, it could be gender, age, religion or spirituality, belief systems, all of these things, physical attributes. This person is just not my type, period. And so then there's a repelling, but then energetically and on a soul level, there's a pull. But now it's too late. You don't cuss this person out. You don't tell them you're not interested. or whatever. So then you chase them, right? And then, they chase you. And by that time, you're not interested. And it goes back and forth forever. Not forever, but it can go on for a long time. Anyway, so that may be, again, something that somebody's been waiting for, and it's been drawing closer and closer. And now this week again, there could be an arrival. Um, yeah, so it could be exactly the relationship you're looking for. Moving on to physical health, we have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, and this can mean that you don't have to spend a lot of money and stuff to stay healthy. So this is a guidance to just do simple things. So really, you're on the cusp of already. It could be a bit more about health maintenance than to cure something. Simple things to support your health or to get your diet under control, even involving just thinking positively, right? Manifestation, eating well, sleeping. Remember here, the 10 of Wands, some of us literally need some rest. So getting enough sleep, getting enough exercise, even social interactions, we're in this quarantine, it is, eventually you need to interact with another human or another animal at least. You need to, to talk to somebody or do something. So if you can't go outside, then maybe you go on, social media, you go online, you go on a dating app, you go on a friend's app, you go on, or you give somebody a call, good old fashioned call, or you text, whatever. Okay. The simple things that we can do. I just got that blend jet thing. Not that I necessarily, I got the $1 million blender already. What's it called? It's Vitamix, sitting in my kitchen. But the blend jet was on sale. My daughter said, "Oh, why don't you get that?" Because I have all these stomach issues, digestive issues and stuff from 9/11. So I'm supposed to make a smoothie. So, for me, that could be the message. Just make your darn smoothie. Right? How difficult is that? It's not. So do it. It's the simple things. And the 10 of Cups is another very positive card, again, all around. So in health too. And this can mean, again, like I was talking about socially, just spending time with another person, a hug. These are the simple, inexpensive things. The best things in life are free, as they say. So spirituality. Our card is the King of Pentacles in reversed, partnered with Major Arcana card Judgment, which is a very spiritual card. So the King of Pentacles can say that we've been putting too much focus or emphasis for too long on finances and not paying enough attention to our spiritual health, really. And who we are at the soul level and spiritually really, for the most part, has very little to do with what you do for a living, So when this card comes up, it's possible that we could really benefit from exploring different concepts, traditions, and understandings in terms of spirituality right now. Just checking new things out. So maybe, I after this reading, I go read a book on Buddhism or L. Ron Hubbard or something like that. I'm not going to go do that, but it's an example. Similarly, Judgment says that you could find yourself exploring ideas and concepts and spiritual directions that you never thought you would interest you. Also, you could find more clarity, truth, knowledge, wisdom, and things in some of the things that you're looking into that you would have ever imagined. So some of you may that could be the chance happening that occurs in your life this week, and the influx of abundance. It can be an abundance of sort of clarity and information. As a matter of fact, I mentioned that one of the things that I was doing this week was helping an Indian family, and they actually told me that one of the family members did have a breakthrough like that this week. It was a masculine, or a male and masculine. So if that potentially means anything, it may maybe to be more so for them than the feminine. Who knows? But I think, since it's coming up for us all in terms of spirituality, it could really be for anybody. Um, and this will be of a benefit to you in ways that you can't even imagine, because right now you don't have the understanding of it. So that also applies to what I was saying about receiving some sort of compensation or abundance that is not money, but has enormous value. And that is the spiritual message. And I think I'm not going to do any additional like any advice or anything like that, because I got more readings to do. So I'm going to come back. But for those of you who would like, you can stick around right now. First, I'm going to talk about what it means for Mars to be moving into Gemini from www.tarot.com. Just opening up my laptop like I do. I already have a tab. Okay. This was published on January 6th, 2021. Mars and Gemini, curious, quick, and diverse. The transit is from March 3rd through April 23rd. We're all masterminds while Mars moves through Gemini. Mars is the instigator, the planet that rules action and motivation. I said aggression, right? Motivation sounds less aggressive. When he transits through Gemini, the sign of the mind, it's our brains that are ignited with passion and drive. We don't just have the power to come up with brilliant ideas and to think in fresh ways now. We also have the ability to take action on them and to turn them into reality. Mars's usual aggression. Oh, okay, they're using aggression too. It's tempered a bit in Gemini, is what it says, helping us to put a greater focus on what's important and allowing us to communicate courageously and to fight for our beliefs in the most effective and logical way. You can say goodbye to boredom while active Mars moves through curious Gemini. With Mars and Gemini, we're so excited to explore new ideas and to start new hobbies that we have no interest in sitting around idly. There's so much out there to discover, and Mars's transit through Gemini is just the time to do it. However, because there are so many things that pique our interest during this transit, it's hard to stay focused on one thing for too long. The challenge is to stay on track, or to realize that many tracks can take us to our goal. Diversity is the name of Gemini's game, and Mars in Gemini is about tasting rather than making a total commitment. We have a greater amount of flexibility when it comes to how we go after what we want. If plan A doesn't work out, it's no problem. We can quickly come up with plan B, C, or even D. Gemini is childlike, fun-loving sign. But Mars in Gemini isn't all fun and games. We're quick to move from one thing to the next during this transit. Well, Geminis are like that anyway, like I mentioned that. But there could be consequences for leaving projects unfinished. We're like butterflies, flitting about a garden of interests. This satisfies our need for discovery, but it could also make us feel generally scattered and unfocused. Because, of course, I have two big butterflies tattooed on me. Because Mars is the planet of action and drive, it's no surprise that it's also the planet of passion and sex. Yeah, it's the masculine planet of love as well. While Mars is in Gemini, the greatest erogenous zone becomes the brain, and we simply must have mental stimulation with our partners before anything else. A meeting of the minds is the biggest turn on, all when Mars treks through this sign. I think that's called sapiosexuality. Oh, I didn't mention the King of Pentacles is a court card. So an earth sign may be significant this week too. A Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. We did see the devil earlier. Or someone like into those traits or attributes, maybe who's always focusing on work and stuff. Maybe if you're the spiritual one, you're the Queen of Swords, you got all these ideas, you may find that this earth sign or earth sign like person is coming to you to help them to, awaken to these new ideas, or to share with you that they have new concepts and new thoughts, and you can help them to broaden that. They may be looking for that Gemini, or that Mars and Gemini spark, right? To get you guys motivated. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I do appreciate you watching. Please do like, share, subscribe, comment. When subscribing, please hit both the subscribe button and the bell button. And when you comment, if you want, you can ask me a question. You don't have to, just make a statement, but you can make a statement too. It's all welcome. I try to respond to all the comments that I receive. Namaste. I'll be back with love.